One of the biggest storylines right now within Red Sox Nation is Jarren Duran, who has made some really interesting adjustments to his swing. But is it enough to make a difference on this 2023 Red Sox team? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and Jarren Duran's been one of the more mysterious figures surrounding this Red Sox team over the last couple of years. It wasn't too long ago when Jarren Duran was one of the most highly touted Red Sox prospects in our system. Some people were even saying he was the most athletic prospect they've ever seen. But since then, it's been a bit of a, we'll say, uphill battle for Jarren Duran at the major league level. He's had his ups for sure, but he's had a lot of downs, and overall, he's had a lot of issues at the major league level in terms of putting together consistent at-bat and consistent on-field play. But coming into camp this year, he's made some legitimate adjustments to his swing and plate approach in general that may or may not be the difference maker for Jarren Duran, and maybe, just maybe, he's figured out how to be successful at the major league level. So that is what we are going to talk about today. We're going to dive deep into the changes that Jarren Duran has made and see if he could be a legitimate difference maker on this 2023 Red Sox team. But before we get into that, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well, as it helps these videos out a ton and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Like I mentioned in the intro, like many players on this Red Sox team last year, Jarren Duran's 2022 did not go well. He finished 2022 with a 221 average, a 283 on base percentage, and just a 78 OPS plus, making him about 22% less productive than the average player in baseball. He did have a lot of extra base hits though. Of the 45 hits he had last year, 14 of them were doubles, 3 of them were triples, and 3 of them were home run. On the field, he was not much better, totaling -7 defensive runs saved in the outfield overall last year for the Red Sox. In terms of how that compares to the rest of the league, if the average is 0, he is well below average in terms of fielding. I don't think you really needed those statistics to understand how poorly Jarren Duran did in the outfield last season. I'm not going to harp on that too much, because this year in particular, 2023, is a very critical year for Jarren Duran. I think, and most people think, that one more year of this sort of can figure it out consistently at the big league level type season for Jarren Duran, people are going to start labeling him a quadruple A player if they have not already. However, going into spring training this year, over the last couple of weeks of spring training, there's been a bit of optimism surrounding Jarren Duran in 2023. Now, the biggest reason for that is his plate approach and his performance at the plate early on in this spring. He's only played in 2 games, so it is a very small sample size, but in those 2 games, he's been extremely impressive at the plate. He has yet to strike out in those 2 games. He has 2 walks, 3 hits, and of those 3 hits, 2 of them have been doubles and 1 of them has been a home run. He also has an on-base percentage right now of 1,000. Again, super small sample size, so why are people optimistic about Jarren Duran going into 2023? Well, it has a lot to do with the way he adjusted his swing. If you take a look at the picture on screen now, here is the comparison between his swing in the big leagues in 2022 on your left and his swing now in 2023 on your right. If you notice, it is a completely different stance. It honestly looks a bit more comfortable just from the naked eye. But if you take a look at his full swing right here, you can see that he's made his stance much more simple and a lot more quick. He's gotten rid of his leg kick. He now uses a toe tap. He doesn't have his hands starting so low and he needs to load them back before he swings. He's starting with them up. It makes it smoother, it makes it quicker, and it makes it a more simpler swing that allows him to swing at more pitches, which is a huge adjustment for the Boston Red Sox and for Jarren Duran specifically. The other reason people are super optimistic about Jarren Duran right now is because of his plate approach. Like I mentioned, he has not struck out yet. He's walked 2 times, and more importantly, in my opinion, is he started to use the opposite field a lot more. And what I mean by that is, of his 3 hits, 2 of them, one of the doubles and the home run, were to the opposite field. If you are a lefty and you are playing at Fenway Park, it is essentially vital to be able to use the opposite field to your advantage. The monster can be your best friend if you let it. Unless obviously you're a guy like David Ortiz or Rafael Devers who can hit the ball 7,000 feet, right? Because then you can just hit it out anywhere. But if your name is not David Ortiz or Rafael Devers, it would be super useful for you to be able to use that wall to your advantage. And it's proven pretty easily, because if you take a look at Jarren Duran's 2022 splits, when he hit the ball to the opposite field, his average was 410. Yeah, he was fairly good when he was hitting the ball to the opposite side of the field. So the optimism for Jarren Duran, kind of out of nowhere, is coming from those two things: his swing adjustment and the fact that he has been able to A, be more selective with pitches, and B, drive the ball the other way early in spring training is a really great sign. Now, obviously, we're going to need a much bigger sample size before we can come to a conclusion as to whether or not Jarren Duran can actually make a difference for this Red Sox team in 2023. But as of right now, given the small sample size and the changes in his swing / plate approach, if that carries over and he's able to do that over an extended period of time, yeah, he could be a great asset to this Red Sox team. But there are a couple things that, even if he's able to do that, that may hold him back. So the big question is, can Jarren Duran be a difference maker for this 2023 Red Sox team, and what's holding him back? My biggest problem with Jarren Duran right now, and why it's so hard for me to be able to say yes or no he will be able to make a difference, is because even if he does fix his swing, even if he does fix his plate approach, the biggest thing holding Jarren Duran back from making a difference on this 2023 team right now is a very simple answer, and it's just simply playing time, right? Because if you take a look at this roster, all three of the outfield positions are in really sturdy hands. I don't think any of these guys are going to be non-starters come opening day. Masataka Yoshida, Duvall, and Verdugo. Then on the bench, you have Rob Refsnyder, who's kind of the perfect fourth outfielder for this team right now. He's a righty when 2 out of 3 of our outfielders are lefties. He's a great defensive outfielder. He's a guy who you can put in late games for defensive replacement. So where does that leave Duran in all of this? Well, I guess you could use him as a 5th outfield option. That is a possibility. Keep him on the roster, let him play once a week, maybe get him 5 at-bats once in a while. You can't really use him as a defensive replacement, as he isn't really the greatest defender in the world, although he did have a really good catch the other day in spring training. I still am a little bit nervous about that defense. I don't know if it's really truly come a long way between 2022 and now, so there may be some slight increase in defense for Jarren Duran, but it's not going to be enough to be a defensive replacement. And with everything that Jarren Duran went through off the field and in his head last season, I don't know if having him play every 6th, 7th, 8th day, only getting what, 3, 4, 5 ABs a week in, is going to be good for him at all. In my opinion, he should start the year in AAA and be sort of the 5th outfield option there. That way he's getting everyday at bats, and heaven forbid an injury happens to anyone in that outfield, he's the guy who can come up, and if he's up here and he is swinging the way he's swinging, he would be able to make a difference. I just think, in my opinion personally, it's all about playing time, and I don't know if you can give that to Jarren Duran right now. However, if Jarren Duran does keep swinging it the way he's swinging, if his plate approach remains the same, if he does improve defensively, he may be able to hit himself onto this roster, right? Because at some point, even if you are pretty set in who you think your outfielders are, if Jarren Duran's hitting like 356 in the minor leagues with a bunch of triples, a bunch of doubles, and he looks really good on defense, you're doing yourself a disservice having him in the minor leagues. So in my opinion, ultimately, I don't know if Jarren Duran will be able to make a difference on this 2023 team. In my opinion, right now, Jarren Duran is playing to be an everyday role in the future of this Red Sox organization, like 2024 and 2025. Where does he fit onto those teams, in my opinion, is what we should be looking at. But it is very impressive to see Jarren Duran get off to such a hot start in spring training. I like his swing a lot more this year than I did last year, and I think overall his confidence looks a lot better. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think of Jarren Duran in 2023? Do you think he has a spot on this team? Do you think he's in AAA? What do you think of the adjustments he made? Do you think they're good enough to bring him to this next level, kind of turn his career in a different trajectory? What are your thoughts on Jarren Duran early in spring training in 2023? Let me know all your thoughts down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps this video out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seat.